Taking images of the ground from the air picture of a military target used to assess the impact of bombing. Air photography from flight. Aerial photography, or airborne images, is the taking of photographs from an airplane or other flying item. Platforms for aerial photography consist of fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, unmanned aerial cars, UAVs or drones, balloons, blimps and dirigibles, rockets, pigeons, kites, parachutes, standalone telescoping and vehicle-mounted poles. Mounted cameras might be triggered from another location or automatically. Handheld pictures may be taken by a photographer. Aerial photography should not be confused with air-to-air photography, where one or more aircraft are used as chase airplanes that chase and photo other aircraft in flight. Aerial photography was first practiced by the French professional photographer and balloonist Gaspard Flix Tournichon, known as Nadar, in 1858 over Paris, France. Nevertheless, the pictures he produced no longer exist, and therefore the earliest enduring aerial photo is entitled Boston, as the eagle and the wild goose see it. Taken by James Wallace Black and Samuel Archer King on October 13, 1860, it portrays Boston from a height of 630 meters. Kite aerial photography was pioneered by British meteorologist E.D. Archibald in 1882. He utilized an explosive charge on a timer to take photographs from the air. The very same year, Cecil Shadbolt developed a technique of taking pictures from the basket of a gas balloon, including shots looking vertically downwards. A print of the very same image, an immediate map photo taken from the vehicle of a balloon, 2,000 feet high, was revealed at the 1882 Photographic Society exhibition. Frenchman Arthur Bitoot started utilizing kites for photography in 1888, and composed a book on his techniques in 1890. Samuel Franklin Cody established his advanced man-lifter war kite, and succeeded in fascinating the British war workplace with its abilities. Antique postcard utilizing kite image method. Circa 1911, in 1908, Albert Samama Chickley filmed the first ever aerial views using a balloon between Hamamleaf and Grombalia. The first usage of a motion picture electronic camera installed to a heavier-than-air aircraft occurred on April 24, 1909, over Rome in the 328 quiet film short. At the start of the dispute, the effectiveness of aerial photography was not totally appreciated, with reconnaissance being accomplished with map sketching from the air. Germany embraced the first aerial cam, a GERS, in 1913. The French started the war with several squadrons of Blériot observation aircraft geared up with electronic cameras for reconnaissance. The French army established treatments for getting prints into the hands of field commanders in record time. Frederick Charles Victor Laws started aerial photography experiments in 1912 with No. 1 Squadron of the Royal Air Force, later on No. 1 Squadron RAF, taking photos from the British dirigible. The Royal Flying Corps reconnaissance pilots began to use cams for tape recording their observations in 1914, and by the Fight of Neuve Chapelle in 1915, the whole system of German trenches was being photographed. In 1916, the Austro-Hungarian monarchy made vertical electronic camera axis aerial photos above Italy for mapmaking. The first purpose-built and practical aerial camera was invented by Captain John Moore Brabazon in 1915 with the assistance of the Thornton Pickard Company, considerably improving the effectiveness of aerial photography. The cam was placed into the floor of the airplane and could be activated by the pilot at periods. Moore Brabazon also originated the incorporation of stereoscopic methods into aerial photography, allowing the height of items on the landscape to be discerned by comparing photos taken at different angles. In January 1918, General Allenby used 5 Australian pilots from No. 1 Squadron AFC to photo a 624 square miles, 1,620 square kilometers, area in Palestine as a help to correcting and improving maps of the Turkish front. This was a pioneering use of aerial photography as an aid for cartography. Lieutenants Leonard Taplin, Alan Runciman Brown, H. L. Fraser, Edward Patrick Kenny, and L. W. Rogers photographed a block of land stretching from the Turkish front lines 32 miles, 51 kilometers, deep into their rear locations. Beginning the 5th of January, they flew with a fighter escort to fend off enemy fighters. The very first industrial aerial photography business in the UK was Aerofilms Limited, established by World War I veterans Francis Wills and Claude Graham White in 1919. The business soon expanded into a company with major contracts in Africa and Asia in addition to in the UK. Operations began from the Stag Lane Aerodrome at Edgware, using the airplane of the London Flying School. Subsequently, the airplane production company, later the de Havilland Aircraft Company, hired an Airco DH.9 together with pilot entrepreneur Alan Cobham. New York City 1932, aerial picture of Fairchild Aerial Studies Inc. From 1921, Aerofilms performed vertical photography for study and mapping purposes.